threats to our survival, millions of people today spend their lives living in the shadow of fear, continually avoiding what scares them rather than pursuing what inspires them. The term VUCA, capital V-U-C-A, was coined to describe the volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous nature of modern life. But let's be honest here, we've never had certainty. However, in our overwired lives today, our news streams bombard us with reasons to bite our nails, stock up on toilet paper and play it safe. Fear has become normalised to the point that we cannot even recognise how many decisions are driven by it. Yet time and time again, history has shown that when fear runs most rampant, brave action reaps the greatest rewards. It's why we must be deliberate not to let fear sit in the driver's seat of our lives. We must commit to being braver in how we work, live, and lead. Countless times in my own life, from my relatively confined childhood on a small dairy farm in rural Australia to my adult life living around the world from Papua New Guinea to Singapore, I have found that each time I decide to take action in the presence of my fear, to not play life safe, I dilute the power fear holds over me and amplify my own. The world has weathered one heck of a storm since the first edition of this book. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, I used to write about how afraid some people were of killer viruses and how unlikely a pandemic actually is. Well, the unlikely event happened and most of us were caught off guard anyway. It triggered a cascading crisis that dialed up the fear factor in our homes and communities, in our schools and organisations, and at decision-making tables the world over. Left unchecked, fear can narrow our thinking, derail our decision-making and keep us from seeing, much less seizing, the opportunities that always exist amid disruption, although often out of plain sight. It can also drive us to overestimate the risks, making us suffer more from our fear than from the source of it. It's why, in this VUCA world we inhabit, the thinking and behaviours that got you to where you are today will be insufficient to take you to where you want to be 10 years from now. As the world has changed, so too you must change how you engage with it. I have written this book because I hold a deep and unwavering belief in our potential as human becomings, to create lives rich in meaning and to move all humanity to higher ground. Yet in my work that spans many countries, cultures and continents, I constantly encounter people trapped inside prisons of their own making, hemmed in by the borders of their own imagination, living under the long shadow of fear. The truth is that you have all the resources within you to create a deeply meaningful and rewarding life, regardless of what you've done or failed to do before, or what is going on in your life right now. However, if you sometimes wonder otherwise, you're not alone. Global employee surveys tell us that millions of people think that what they do each day doesn't matter and that they are powerless to change their environment. The cost to the commercial bottom line is in the billions. The cost to the human spirit is immeasurable. Underlying this disengagement is fear in many guises, of failure, of success, rejection, exposure, not having enough, of not being enough. Countless business books are filled with strategies for becoming a more proficient networker, strategist, salesperson, negotiator, hypo employee, and leader. Very few address the deep-seated fears and complex interplay of unconscious cognitive biases that form the human condition and that keep us from applying them. While this book is written for you, the individual, it will benefit any team, enterprise, or organisation. After all, organisations are made up of people. As such, people are their number one resource, and the fear that stifles their potential, their creativity, collaboration, and collective ingenuity is their number one threat.